All right. All right, welcome to the show. Today we're going to be talking about Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. And many of the reviews that we've seen about it, we're going to review the reviews and review the game. Today I am here with somebody, bleh, if I can talk, I'm failing at talking. And my name's Anthony, and my guest today is.
Brandon.
All right. All right, first things first, let's talk about the AI bots difficulty. That's something that seems to be a hot topic. There are some reviewers out there who have suggested that if you can't beat the AI bots, then it's a skill issue, and there's others that have suggested that the AI bots need to be nerfed, that they're unbeatable. What's your opinion on that before I go too
I
far?
really, I really think it just depends on the platform you're on. From what I've seen and what I've read on it, it really seems like between Xbox, PC, and PlayStation, the bot difficulty varies quite a bit.
Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking, because I've noticed that PlayStation guys seem to be the ones that lean towards it's a skill issue. If you can't beat the bots, then you got skill problems. Because one particular reviewer, he said he makes them get a DNF every time he's beating them by like 30 seconds or more on even the short races. Whereas a fellow PC gamer actually had them beat the world human record by 5 minutes on one of the crown jewels.
Which I think is quite absurd.
Yeah, I've seen it myself on my computer. I've seen them beat the human world record by quite a bit. And I don't know that if they need to be nerfed so much as just normalized and make a setting available for the user to pick to decide what their style of gaming is. Do they want it to be hard? Do they want competition? Or do they just want to play through?
I think the idea behind the variable AI difficulty was good, all in all. However, I think it was badly implemented, and I kind of agree with you on that. That
Right.
it was something that wasn't broke and really shouldn't have been fixed.
All right. So more or less, that's my opinion. I have found the AI bots to be somewhat difficult on experienced level, but not unbeatable. And when they hit the expert level, that's when I have found them to be quite difficult. Usually, the top bot will be within a few seconds of the world record, sometimes better than the world record, and the lower bots on the expert actually act worse than the experienced bots. So yeah. All right. Moving on, because I don't want to take a whole lot of time here. Offline mode. I'm pretty sure everybody's in agreement that we need an offline mode.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's one of my biggest gripes about games in the modern days. There's not really any that you can play once the servers go down.
right. It's more about that for me than it is anything. Being able to play when the servers are down. I don't mind being forced online when online is available. But there are
Right.
some other issues I have noticed. Now, we'll get into this more later, comparing this to the original TDU series. But I have noticed that there is some session hitching when I'm in a race with people online. And it varies from person to person, I guess, their ping time. But an offline mode would be nice to have to do the races if you just want to get the races done to earn the cash. Being able to
Absolutely.
choose the offline mode. Speaking of earning cash, I think offline mode is something we all agree about that they need to put that on there. But earning cash has created a bit of controversy too. I've heard some reviewers say that it's an absolute grind to try to earn cash, and other reviewers are like, just run the races. Now I'm going to pause the game here for a second. I don't know how good this is going to go through YouTube's compression, but I haven't been trying to earn cash, and I have every car that I need in the game right now, every car that I need at the moment, and I'm sitting on nearly 4 million coins. Now I don't know how you feel about that, but I feel like the game just throws cash at you.
I mean, it really kind of does between the things that you can do in free roam and the actual races. Let's not forget that if you're putting 3 stars down on the speed traps that are littered quite literally everywhere, you're getting 50,000 a pop for that. Not to mention the races, even on the low levels, give you 30 to 40,000. And
Right?
with the low level cars not being hugely expensive and the modifications also not being hugely expensive, it's kind of easy to earn cash.
I almost wish you could see what see me driving. I just run all over fences here, but I'm looking off to the side at OBS to make sure everything's still working.
Right.
But yeah, I have found that the coins just kind of earn themselves, and maybe it's because I like to just run races, and so I get in there and run them and try different things and toying with it. And before I know it, I've made 1,000,000 coins. But
I mean, it really is to get lost, easy to get lost in the game too, and that definitely helps. Like
yeah,
let's not denounce how much the environment of a game changes the grind for things.
right.
And they really did, in my opinion, nail the environment. So it's kind of easy to grind, in my opinion, even when you do find yourself grinding for the more expensive vehicles. It is rather easy to.
Yeah, and you bringing on right my next topic, which was car costs. There's a lot of people complaining that the cars cost too much,
I was
and
hoping I was pulling a segue for that.
yeah, that was perfect segue because some of these cars are really expensive, and I admit some of them are more expensive than they probably should be.
When a Ford GT is whatever teen million it is now, because I haven't played in a few days, uh, that is a problem.
Yeah, because they did raise that up. It was like 1.2 million, and I'm not sure if they raised this up on every platform, but on PlayStation 5, Kingdom 12, he was showing where they raised it from like 1.2 million to like 3.5.
Oh, I mean, it's not even that one that I'm talking about. You know, the GT40
Oh, you're talking about okay.
that's in the classic dealers like 15 million.
Good lord. So yeah, I can agree with some of the reviewers that the prices for vehicles, yeah, a little bit excessive here
Kind
and
of
there,
rough.
but there are
Some of
cheap
the
options.
I mean, yeah, when you get into the actual cars that you need for races, like in your supercars and your Grand Tours and things like that, you average right around anywhere from like 600,000 to a million for the Grand Tours and a little over that for the supers. It's not too bad. Not to mention, in the supercar class, you get a really decent option for some of the early races in the Caterham, and it's like 200 grand.
Yes, and even in the hypercars, the car I'm driving now, the Porsche 918 Spider, it's not, or it wasn't the last time. You know what? Might ought to go to the dealership and take a look. I'm gonna do that and
That's
see if
not a
they've
bad
raised it
idea.
up, raised the price up. As soon as I remember where there it is. But when I bought it, it was only like I don't even have to go in the dealership. It's gonna show up here, but I'm gonna go anyway just to show it. But it was not very expensive, and in my opinion, upgraded. It's one of the best cars in the game.
That's not going to be hard to get me to say that. I'm a Porsche fan anyway.
Yeah, and here, okay, I'm here now, and I'll almost have enough funds to buy it again. It's 4,209,500 coins. That's it.
And for a pan ultimate class car in the game, that's a very reasonable cost. Keep in mind that you're paying roughly the same in games like Forza Horizon and Forza Motorsport for the top class cars.
And in
So
case
that's
anybody's
very reasonable cost.
watching me walk around and wondering why I'm walking like I'm drunk, I'm literally walking with a steering wheel. I play this
Oh
game with a
god,
wheel.
the walk controls with the steering wheel are so wrong. That's the entire reason I can't play it on wheel is the walk controls are just so wrong.
You know what? I wasn't planning on talking about controls, but since you brought up, let's do talk about controls real quick. For the most part, I have found the steering controls in this game to be very good. It's awkward to walk, but you can do it. But driving, once you get it set up, I find it to be on par with other games. I won't say that
Fair
it's
warning though.
great.
Fair warning, however. If you have a wheel that has a setting any higher than 180 degrees, you might want to turn it down to 180 degrees
Yeah, I
because
turned
that's
mine down
the
in
turning
game.
radius. Yeah,
There's actually a setting in game to allow
and that's what I'm
to do that.
referencing.
Now, I'm kind of a little upset here. I have a FPS counter in the top right of my screen that OBS is not capturing, and it's kind of irritating me because I was planning on talking about graphics settings. You know.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to say about controls before we move on to graphics?
Not really. The only gripe I have is the 180-degree lock. I do wish it was a bit wider.
You know, I haven't heard any other reviewers really talk about controls. I mean, they do talk about how the cars feel, how they move, stuff like that, but they don't talk about the controls. But I found the controls and stuff in this game to be as intuitive as Forza Horizon. Any one of them, you know, it's just you go in there and set what you want and go for it. But anyway, moving on, graphics next. There is a lot of people out here who are saying that this game is horrendously, how should we put this, not done well. It has not been optimized at all.
No.
Now, I have found ways around this. And if you're watching this on YouTube, that I don't know that you are, you might be. No, wait, that's right, I didn't do the live, never mind. But for those of you watching this on YouTube, I am using OBS as Steam or Discord, Steam and Discord, as well as playing this game. And I am sitting here at 72 FPS in this middle of the city. And I can tell you when I'm not running OBS, that usually sits around 110. And the reason why that's important is most people are having trouble hitting 60. Now, I don't know what you're getting. Yeah, I'm on a 6900 XT and a 5950X CPU. Now, I don't know what you get in the game or if you've paid any attention.
If I'm going to be completely honest, I haven't. I know I get at least 60 because I don't have any issues with frame hitching or anything like that. So I know I'm clocking at minimum 60 out of a 6800 and a 3900X.
Alright. So what I'm doing to get what I'm getting with frame times of somewhere around, normally around 8 to 10 milliseconds and running usually somewhere above 100 FPS, is I'm taking advantage of AMD's fluid motion frames, which is now in its second generation. I'm in a traffic jam, and I kid you not, these bots are just sitting here. I'm gonna knock them out of the way.
Yeah, I was going to say running
Bust
over.
by them. But yeah.
It just stopped oil again.
Now I don't know. Let me see if it'll actually show that here. Crap! It won't catch the Radeon overlay. Dadgummit. All right. You can turn it on in the Radeon overlay just by hitting Alt R and go into the gaming and go pick test drive Solar Crown and just turn on fluid motion frames. Now, just so I can show people what I'm running at here, I have the graphics set to ultra. I'm not compromising at all. Everything is set to its max setting, and it's set at 1440p. And honestly, it looks beautiful. It's nice and smooth. I'm not having any issues. I know a lot of people diss on fluid motion frames, but if you don't see anything in this video that's making it look horrible to you, then shoot, you'd be good to go. Now I'm telling you, YouTube's going to make this look worse than it looks to me. But what I'm seeing looks beautiful. Oh yeah, that's another thing. I just passed a player. There's some people say they never see players in line. That makes twice now I've seen a player while we've been doing this video. I have been.
Yeah, I have noticed recently that the players are more common.
So that brings me right on into the next subject, which was the. I forgot about putting that in my list, but I did want to talk about the getting into session with people. Yeah, it happens now. I have today alone. I have raced with, I think, 10 different people. I mean, true, it's not filling up the race with people and mostly still AI bots, but it's better than it was. So let's see. I know this is quick paced and we're just touching on things real quick, but I don't want to make a really long, horrible review video. Car sounds.
I don't blame you, really and truly.
Car sounds and physics. Now this, I believe, has been mostly positive from all reviewers. I don't know how you feel about the physics, but I have talked with you about the sound. and I love the sounds. I
I
don't
don't
know.
have any issues with the sound or the physics, really and truly.
The sounds is the best vehicle sounds in any game I have played in a while. Like, actually, I don't recall a game that had better sound. I was watching a YouTuber who was comparing the sounds in the game to the actual cars, and there was a couple of times I had to look back to see which one was which because I wasn't really watching it. I was doing something else, just listening to it. I had to see which one was which because it was so close to the real sound the cars was making.
It really is impressive what they did with it. Well, that's something we're seeing universally among car games now too. Is car sounds just becoming more and more fantastic
Right?
as time goes on. It has definitely, but like for example, between Forza Horizon 4 and Forza Horizon 5, the difference was unbelievable. And even that game still has kind of shoddy car sounds in
Right?
terms of industry standard anyway.
Oh, one thing I forgot to mention while we was talking about graphics. One thing I do hate about this game, though, as far as the graphics goes, the aliasing is terrible. There's no that I know they probably didn't put it in here because it's already hard on your graphics card. But this game needs some seriously better anti-aliasing. It's just like TDU2 in that respect. I don't know.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know if the video on YouTube will show it because I'm recording at 1080p. But on full screen, looking at it, I can see the aliasing. All right, so pretty much everybody, like I said, thinks the physics and the sound is good. If I had to pick on anything, I would say it's the physics between the tires. It sometimes well, it just feels a little bit slicker than it should when you have off-road tires on road. And I only say that because I drive a vehicle that has off-road tires on road all the time, and it's not that slippery. It's just not. So, yep, that's it. That's pretty much it. All right, right now we're down to no houses and no casino. That is something that many people have felt should have been out day one.
I kind of agree, at least for the houses. I don't
Right.
think the casino was out on day one on TDU2 though, so I mean, I can't really knock it for that.
That's exactly where I was going. I think some people just expected this game to be as good as TDU2 was at the end of its life, at the beginning of this one's life, and that's a little unreasonable. I mean, sure, the game came out with a horrible launch, terrible issues with the servers and stuff, a lot of bugs, a lot of crashes, loading errors and stuff, but
Let me shatter your rose-colored glasses real quick about TDU2 though.
right,
If you'll think back to the wee old days of what was it, 2011?
yes,
Uh, when that game launched, it was nearly impossible to find a session that was remotely close to stable.
right,
In fact, I distinctly remember having issues because our whole family played at the time.
yes.
Distinctly remembering having issues of locking people out of the session because we all three were playing on the same IP at the same time for some
Right.
unknown reason.
That never did get fixed, by the way. We
Oh,
had
did it?
to get other people in the session with one of us, and then the other two of us could join.
Yeah, we had to stage our sessions.
You can literally, and if we ever got out of the same session, it wasn't happening again.
So sorry to shatter, like I said, the rose-colored glasses you've been wearing. The fellas that have been saying that this is a worse launch than TDU2. No, no, it wasn't.
TDU2 was the game I learned the three letters CTD. I swear to God, I never saw those
Those were
letters
the
typed
most
in.
common three letters in return to chat in that game.
Yeah, never saw
Or
those
in
letters
C.
typed out so many times.
Like, my God, you'd be driving along, having a good time, taking your Pagani Zonda in places it has no right being, because that's what you did. Uh,
Yeah, the
and
physics were horrible in that game.
you just crash.
The physics were horrible. You could drive a Pagani Zonda anywhere that you could drive a Audi Quattro, whatever the heck.
On average, in my experience in that game, you had a 50-50 shot once you hit the loading menu of making it into the game.
You're right. It really was. Now, as far as no houses though, I do agree 100%. We should have had houses. The casino
Absolutely.
came later, and it was buggy as heck when it came out. So I don't
Oh my
expect any
god.
better out of this. I mean, just overall though, I think people have come at this game from two different points of view. You got the people with, like you said, the rose-colored glasses that expected this to be like what they remembered TDU2 being like, and you got other people that come at this expecting it to be some kind of AAA mega title.
Keep in
And
mind that this is done by KT Racing, which is not exactly the largest name. They've done WRC stuff and a couple of MotoGPs, but they've never done a foray into the massively
oh
open
my
world games like
god,
this.
I have just pulled the biggest old man stunt in the world, and I don't know how long I've been doing it. I
What do
accidentally
you do?
turned on my emergency flashers, and I have been driving with them on this whole time. Oh
No, that's
god.
fine. That way you don't get pulled over. Speaking of which, where are cops?
Yes, that's right. I forgot about that. There's been mixed feelings on this. There's some people that felt the cops were just an annoyance in the other TDUs 1 and 2.
I liked
And
messing with them.
then there's people like me that just like to pick at them and have fun and see if I can get away.
Like some of the most fun times in that game were trying to run away from the cops.
Man, they were vicious.
They would just spawn out of nowhere too. Like they would just appear right in front of you.
Yeah,
Like hello,
you're
pull
getting
over.
away from the others, and then bam. You know, just just overall though. Oh yeah, I forgot. There was one other point of view people have come at this from, and that was point of view that I came from, and that is that I full well remembered what TDU2 was like. I still play TDU2, and it still crashes to desktop. So
You still have a 50-50 shot.
yeah, I mean, I remember what it was like, so I did not expect it to be polished. I remember playing the open beta, or what was that? What they didn't call it an open beta. It's the one where they released the preview.
Oh, the
Yeah,
pre-release thing,
I played. Remember playing
or
it,
the demo.
demo
Yeah.
version. Yeah, and the first words out of my mouth when you asked me how did I like it, I said, "This is the most test drive thing I have ever seen."
Oh,
And
don't let my complaints make you think that it's not test drive. It is test drive through and through. It is true to form.
the road style, the open nature of it. I mean, Forza Horizon, the various versions of it have open world, but they feel different. This,
I feel very dead.
yeah, this feels like Test Drive Unlimited did. So, yeah, I mean, and all the errors and the crashes and the server problems, every bit of that reminded me of TDU2.
It is every bit a test drive game as much as TDU2 was.
I mean, honestly, if I were to go back and play TDU2 right now, like if I booted it up and tried to play as long as we've been talking, it would have crashed. Just
You know, I
get,
do actually have an interesting tidbit on that. The PS3 version that I
uh-huh.
had, ironically enough, for TDU2, did not crash a single time I had it.
I just found a speed trap I haven't got 3 stars on yet. I might have
I'll
to
go ahead
try
and go
that.
for it.
I, I'm gonna turn around. I also found a prize up here I haven't got that I need to figure out how to. Oh, there it is. I'll go get it. I have found most things in this game, most of the prizes and stuff.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, if you hear the
I,
if y'all hear the clicking, it's because I'm driving in manual.
I'm driving in Manuel.
In Manuel, yeah. It's wet, so I'm probably gonna slide out bad here.
That is another interesting tidbit. Speaking of the physics from earlier, that I think is a bit of an issue, is the rain physics kind of rough. When it rains 5 times out of 10 or 6 times out of 10 when you're racing, that's a problem. I
Oh
don't mind
yeah,
racing in the rain. I race in the
and
rain and I racing a lot, doing Assetto Corsa a lot. I have no problem with that, but I'd like to race in the dry at least once a day.
and this is just like TDU2 was. They love the rain in that game, and I mean, and people are probably gonna pick at me on in the comments on this if anybody actually watches this video, but I have never in my life looked outside in pouring rain, lightning, and thunder and thought to myself, you know what, this would be a great time to get in the hyper car and go race. It's just like, come on.
I mean, yeah, I
I
can understand why racing series and stuff like that race in the rain, but you know, it's
oh
in the middle of a monsoon. Even they're going to cancel most of the time.
remember the time bombs and stuff that they had in TDU2? The
Oh yeah, where's the little like instant
right
challenges and stuff like that? Well, not instant challenges that they have those, but like the little yeah, I know what you're on about.
little side tasks on the map that you can pick and do.
Oh, the side missions.
Now, I could understand one of them being lightning and thunderstorm. Like make one of them little time bomb missions on the map be you picking up a lady whose car broke down in the rain and she needs to get to the other side of the island as fast as possible in the storm. That would be a great way of incorporating the weather and
I think so. Yeah.
bringing back a thing that those of us who play TDU2 a lot will remember fondly. The delivery missions.
I like the side quests.
Remember the one where you're supposed to scare the guy?
Yes, that was a lot of fun.
I was real good at them by accident.
Yeah, I heard, ow, I broke a nail more often than I care to admit, and that really annoyed me.
Oh gosh. Well, anyway, just to sum it up, I could never give any TDU game that I've ever played a 10 out of 10 stars
No.
or 5 out of 5, whatever rating you want to go by. But I will say this: it is the most solid, like 6 I have ever seen in my life. It is the epitome of mediocrity in ratings, but it's a game I can't put down.
It's a solid B tier, and it's horrendously addicting.
Yes, I love it, but I also love to hate it.
It has this reminiscent feel of almost Slav jank, you know,
Yeah.
where you just keep going back.
Oh, I forgot. Tuning. How do you feel about the new tuning system?
I like it a lot better than the old tuning system, but there are some tidbits that could be adjusted a little better.
I'm going to
Uh,
make this as quick as I can. It's a Forza Horizon knockoff,
yeah,
and it shows.
like there's a couple of
Whoa,
things you
that
could do to
bot
add to
just
the street racing
appeared.
aspect.
It appeared
Like you could add,
sideways.
like one thing I'd like to see added into that is like engine management stuff, where you can tune your boost pressure and things like that.
Now, I have found, not that, I don't think I found that. I'd have to go look. I have found some micro tuning things, like whenever you're getting ready to start a race. I have found ways to adjust things that you can't adjust in the workshop, or at least I say you can't. I don't know. I feel like there should be more tutorial in this game, in some respects. Optional tutorial, like a
Yeah,
help tutorial, like a hey, I want to see how to do this. But anyway, this has already gone on long enough. If anybody watching has any questions, comments, whatever, write them down below. If can, one of the two of us will get to it. As far as would I recommend you buy this game? Yeah, if you just like piddling around and exploring with a mix of racing, and willing to hope that it gets better, sure, go ahead. But if you're expecting AAA action, you go get something else. I mean, it's not
yeah,
Forza Horizon 5. It's not.
yeah, just no. If you're expecting perfection and you know pseudo realism, probably not for you.
Yeah, I'm probably going to have some people in the comments be like, well, actually, about some of our comments about the original games, but all of that is coming from personal experience. If if you played TDU2 and TDU1 and your experience was different, awesome. But that was
I
our
know,
experience.
and for reference, I know between us we at least have a couple of thousand hours of experience in the game
Oh my
at this point.
God. I have 1,800 and something hours, I think it is, or maybe it's
Okay, a
1,600
few
something,
thousand then.
on Steam. And I spent the majority of my time playing that game off Steam.
I've got like 700 on Steam, and then you know just how much I was spending off Steam as well. So
Yeah. And see, this is what I like doing, what I've been doing right here while we've been talking. I like to get out and go cruise. So I'm hoping one day to actually find more of my friends online and be able to cruise with friends. I already have found a few people on here to cruise with, and it's nice. This is what I like. I like to earn the money in the races, do the races, get the stuff, and then just go cruise with friends. Anyway, thank you for watching, and thank you, Brandon, for joining us. And
Alright.
I hope everybody out there has a great day, and maybe we'll do another video. If you like this, just write it in the comments. I wouldn't bother subscribing to my channel unless you're just don't like yourself because I don't put out very much, and it's usually terrible. All right, y'all have a good one.